is, right? What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Are you ready? It's time!
Welcome back to another Sunday afternoon episode of Software Explorations. We are trekking away through Terraform. I think we're just about done with this part of the Terraform, with the ECS and stuff like that. We've covered way more than the course that we're supposed to be going through covered, because we've actually applied it to a real existing project. Shout out to us. And I think the next thing that we're probably going to start looking into is getting more familiar with the modules. We touched on it a little bit during, like, in the earlier days of the course, but now it should make a lot more sense. So we're going to look into that. If you do not know who I am your host of the show and of the channel. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. Thank you. You shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We already got my guy in the building, Yakar, and he is summoning up Mitch. What's going on, Yakar? How are you doing this Sunday? For you, it's almost Sunday afternoon. It's still morning for Yakar over there on the West Coast. Welcome in, everyone. We're gonna have some fun today. Got some things to talk about, and during our break, I'll get to that. But we're going to be reviewing a video that I saw. I'll share the topic as we go along in this show for today, right? And what I'm gonna do, like I mentioned yesterday, I want to limit the show to a particular time frame. I want to do, let's say we don't want to go longer than, let's see. We do 3 20-minute segments. It's an hour of work. And we have our breaks. Let's go for an hour and 45. Let's try an hour and 45 minutes. Let's see how that goes today, right? So I'm going to add a timer real quick for an hour and 45 minutes to see how that. No more than an hour, your car? There's no possible way. Oh, are you answering the 320 minutes? Yeah, that's an hour. Yeah. So we're gonna do no more than an hour and 45 minutes for the whole show today. All right. That way, we are. We see what we can do. We will see what we can do. So let's say 1 hour, 45 minutes, and I wonder if I could put any text in front of it. Let's go here and let's go here. Let's see how that's going to work out for us. And let's put it in this corner right here. So that's going to be our time left timer, like how much time we have left. And it says you can put into the time cost calculator after you update the user story. Yep. All right. All right. So we have that. And now let's get into our agenda. So that way we don't go longer than an hour and 45 minutes. We make sure that we are on pace. Break times are going to limit it to 5 minutes. Oh, by the way, I'm going to try to be more strategic on the chat. So if there is something that you want me to read, just at me, just tag me Tech Coach Ralph, and I will filter for that to make sure I get all of those. But I'll try to like catch everything that's going on. But if there's something that you really want me to read, tag me in it. I'll make sure I see that and I'll highlight it on the screen and everything like that. Because I know sometimes we be getting into these side conversations and I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. So tag me. I'll make sure I have a filter on for that, and I will definitely read that. All right. So that is the plan for today. Let's get into our agenda. We have a pretty good agenda for today. All right. Because I'm going to be sharing with you some things that I learned and throughout the whole process. Right. So let's get into it. And I was thinking about this. I need a sound for when our time expires, right? Like for when the total time expires, the whole hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to get a little clip. You know what? I'm not even going to say. I'll tell you offline, because I just want it to be a surprise for whatever next show we have. It's going to be when the time runs out, it's going to be, and then just, you'll see. You're going to like it though. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. All right. So let's get into the show for today. All right. Let me make sure. All right, cool. So agenda. Housekeeping time as always. So first and foremost in our housekeeping, I want to say a big thank you so much to all of the subscribers on the channel, the new ones, the old ones, everyone, the moderators. Shout out to, let's clap it up for the moderators real quick, right? They are absolutely awesome, always keeping the chat engaged, having a great time. I love the moderators, and a big salute to my tech savages. That includes all the Patreon members, all the YouTube members, the tech barbarians, the tech prodigy, the technical explorers, the tech mercenaries, and of course, the bag chasers. Shout out to the bag chasers. All right, now let's jump into our show schedule like we always like to do. So, I'm going to come back to this because it's my favorite show, right? But let's start off with this. Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 a.m. We have Coffee and Kata, where we review some news stories. Have a cup of coffee. We review our news story, and then we get into our mobile app development. Tomorrow, I believe we're going to be writing some user stories for the Watch app that we are yet to build. Yesterday, Yakar and I led a training where we were writing the user story for a feature update for the actual time cost calculator. But tomorrow we're going to be starting to write our story for the Watch app. Try to do those in parallel, and go from there, right? So, and then on Wednesday we'll probably be investigating how we're going to actually be creating this Watch app and have it in the same repo. Or can we do that? I don't know. We'll find out. We shall find out. Now we have Tuesday nights. We have the Q&A show where you can call in if you want. You don't have to be on camera, but you can call in, ask me a question. We can have an interaction, because a lot of times you need follow-up questions. So it's easier for us to have a conversation. We can allocate 3 to 5 minutes to having a conversation. And we can have it live. You can pick my mind, not my brain, because that would hurt, but you can pick my mind. And, I find questions as well, answer questions from the chat. However you want to ask the question, I will be there for you to answer your question, all right? Thursday nights, we have software explorations. We just finished up with the Swagger auto generation, like generating API documentation via Swagger magically, I should say, right? And this coming Thursday, I'm going to see where we're going to go with. I'm not even sure yet where we're going to go this coming Thursday. We'll figure that out, but that is the plan. And then we have Sunday afternoon software exploration. We're working our way through Terraform. Like I said, we're coming to an end with this ECS because it was so much investigation because we were doing it on a real app. But now we're going to be looking about modules to see how can we implement some modules on this application of ours, because infrastructure is important. And then my favorite show of the week.
We the best.
It's Saturday mornings, 9:15 a.m. It's called the Men Lie, Women Lie, but Numbers Manipulate. It's real out here. It is real out here. Because after we read those numbers, we be like,
congratulations, you played yourself.
But that is our weekly economic numbers review. We review all sorts of economic data to see how we're doing. We review the unemployment claims. We review the job numbers. We review the consumer sentiment index. We review the Fed meetings, all that type of stuff. We try to figure it out for ourselves. We break it down in an easy way to understand so that it can make sense to us, all right? Because look, we should have learned this stuff in middle school, maybe even elementary school, but many of us didn't. Many of us didn't. So we have to figure it out now, and we want to be informed. We don't want to just be given some random information that many times is wrong because the numbers be manipulating. We want to get it for ourselves. So join us on Saturday mornings. Yesterday, our good friend Mitch and I had a very great, somewhat conversation. He was in the chat. I was live. And we were talking about predatory lending and payday advance places and all that type of stuff and the FICO 10S or FICO 10T. And, I hate to say it, but I destroyed him. I destroyed Mitch.
Let's get it.
But, maybe we'll have round 2 this coming Saturday. You definitely want to join us. I'm going to clip those up. I'm definitely going to clip those up. And we're going to share that on the channel because I think that it's going to be pretty popular. I'm pretty sure my take is not popular, right? It's not popular because you might think differently than what I'm saying, but it doesn't matter what you think. I'm just saying. That was just a perfect opportunity to use that. It was a perfect opportunity, right? Anyhow, that is our live show schedules for the week. I love Saturday mornings. We have really, really good information on that. So definitely join into Saturday mornings. All right. So, and we have Roxy in the building. Welcome, Roxy. How are you? So happy to have you here. Let's jump into our pre-recorded content really, really quick. You like that, right? You like that one? That was a perfect timing, wasn't it? All right. So pre-recorded content. Mondays, we have candid conversations, right? Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about how today's failure, or at least my failure today, leads to my success tomorrow, and how if you shift your mindset, you're going to accomplish so many things. But stop being afraid of failure so that you can actually get the success that you've been looking for. All right. Last week was about put yourself first. Always put yourself first. And putting yourself first, you're going to have a lot of failure. But that's what happens to pioneers. They fail over and over and over again until success. So that's what I'm saying. Wednesdays, software explorations. Last week we spoke about DevSecOps. This week we're going to be talking about quality assurance metrics. Part 1. It's going to be a 2-part video, right? Because it's pretty long. So it's going to be part 1. I'm going to go for about 20 minutes, and then next week maybe another 20 minutes. 2 parts, at least 2 parts, right? And then Fridays we have the bug bite. Last week we spoke about the snowflake hack and the ongoing trials and tribulations of that. This week we're going to be talking about an ex-employee, how it cost its former company $600,000. Who was in the wrong? Was it the ex-employee? Was it the company? Tune in on Friday and we shall find out together. And then we have throughout the week, sometimes we have shorts, not really, but we have additional content that I've been posting, clips from these live shows, clips from the breaks. We have Monday through Friday, we have a clip from the clips from the live shows. Those are going to be sparingly because it's really hard to get all of those out. But we're always going to have the clips from the Q&A show because that information people really want to know. But we try to get as much out as possible. All right. So that is our live shows for the week. All right. All right. So let's get to it. What is in the chat? Let's see what's in the chat real quick. And let's do a proper welcome for everyone here. Let's start off with, Car, from your earlier chats, your Car. Look, your Car. I understand that you're used to a particular type of thumbnails, but I'm trying to bring in, everybody. I'm trying. It varies, your Car. It varies. I'm trying to bring in, the other people as well because. So sometimes they need to learn this tech stuff too. Your car hit us with the salute. Welcome in your car. Welcome. And we got in the building, we got Roxy. Hey, Roxy, how are you doing today? Hopefully you're having an amazing Sunday. Your car like the rock right there. We got my guy Darcel in the building. Checking in or Mitch will hunt you down. I'm just saying, like, hey Darcel, like when you're gone, when you get missing for like 3-4 weeks, we're like, we have a APB and a Bolo, a be on the lookout for Darcel because it is not like him to be ghost like that. All right, so see, I send my goons after you because you don't want to catch those hands. You do not want to catch those hands. All right, because Mitch will throw them at you because we know that they're the removable hands, so he'll throw them at you. Right, and we got in the build. My guy in the building says, "Take off the blazer, loosen up the tie. Superman is alive." And Mitch, before we go any further, I just have to let you know this. I have to let you know, right? Because things can change throughout the show. But
I appreciate you.
gonna get it out of the way now because things can change during the show. Things can change during the show, right? Details are in the com. All right. So, like I said, let's see. I scrubbed the dark net looking for Darcel. I'm telling you, we have. Sometimes I have to send out the people for Darcel, but let's get to it. All right. Well, let me see. What do we have here today? Let me see. I did not queue this up real quick. Let's see. Do I have an icebreaker for you guys? I don't know. What time? 3:05. All right, we're in good timing. We have an hour and a half left. Okay. So that being said, we're gonna skip because actually no, I do have something for you guys. So let's get started with our first segment because our first segment I'm gonna be talking and walking you through stuff that I discovered, right? An issue that I had with Mongo connection. I don't know, like maybe some people here are more familiar with it, but I was not. So I had to figure this out on my own. It took me a while to figure it out, but we got it. So we are going to start our first 20-minute segment that can, tie into our icebreaker and stuff like that. And we'll get to it. All right. So with that being said, let's get started. Actually, I need to move this timer thing up top. Let's go with there we go. Perfect. So let's get started with our very first segment of the show.
It's time to do.
Darcel says, "Be careful what you look for." That is too funny. All right, so I wanted to talk to you guys about AWS private link, right? AWS private link, and I'll show you around inside of the console. And I have an article. I'm trying to revamp my website because I have not been paying much attention to it. So a bunch of moving pieces. Time is limited. You have to prioritize the things that are more important. But I think the website is very important, but I have to make more time for that, right? So with that being said, let's start off with what issue was I having? So one of the issues that I was having was getting the how do you call it? Getting the Elastic Beanstalk, which we set up on here through Terraform and everything, like back in February. Getting that to talk to our Mongo Atlas database, right? So what happened is Mongo Atlas, and I'm using a serverless database, but what happens is Mongo sits separately from AWS. I don't know if Mongo uses AWS for its hosting. I don't know what they do, right? But it's in a different area. Let's say that it's in a different area, and they do have integration with AWS. But I needed to get my Elastic Beanstalk to actually connect to our Mongo Atlas serverless, right? And they just weren't talking to each other. It couldn't connect and everything like that. So what I ended up doing, and this is all through troubleshooting because this is like not how you're going to want to leave it, but I ended up saying accept all connections from any location for Mongo, which is bad because if somebody gets your username and password, then they're going to be able to connect to it, and it's bad cybersecurity. Ferris, don't at me, Ferris, don't at me. Luckily, he's probably playing video games today, but but in troubleshooting, these are the things that you're going to have to do. You might have to temporarily give access to it, but you have to also make sure you don't forget that you gave access to it. Neither here nor there, right? So let's start. Let me start sharing the screen, right? Let me see. Let me go to here, and let me hide this column. That way. Let's go here. I don't want to share anybody's name. Let's go here. Give me a second. If that doesn't work, we're just going to get rid of it. All right, let's go with that. That didn't work out too well. All right, whatever. We're gonna just do this stuff. Some of the ways that these people be writing HTML code can be super, super annoying sometimes. They don't. They don't. All right, whatever. So here's what I'll do. I will. All right. Anyways, so here's what we're gonna do. It was all right. So and pretty much, I'll just share a different page. And let's go here. All right. And let me close that down. So here we go. Let's go here. All right. So this is Mongo DB Atlas. They're hosting stuff, and pretty much in your network access, you can specify what IP addresses are able to connect to your like from what locations you can connect to your database, right? When you're connecting to your database. But the problem that because of the restriction and AWS being in their virtual private networks, you need to be able to give access to your AWS virtual private network, your load balancers, to your database and vice versa. The database also needs to be able to send information back to your network, to your virtual private network. So the issue then is how do you give access to that? And the problem that I was having is unless I had gave access to all of the IP addresses or to any IP address, my AWS wasn't able to submit requests to the database. So I was trying to figure that out, and it turns out that there is move this up a little bit. There is something called a virtual private. Make this smaller a little bit. Move that up right there. Okay, so it is virtual private link, virtual private network endpoint, something like that. And we'll look into it a little bit more. But so I wanted to share with you guys what that actually is, so that if you ever run into a situation where AWS or whatever you're using on AWS needs to make an external call, you already know that, you can probably use a private link. And there was one caveat at the end of it that I wasn't aware of that I'll also show you as well, right? So let's go and let's take a look at this, right? So what is AWS private link? And this is my website that I'm going to be making better, to be honest with you. Like it's been really crappy for the past year, but agile methodology, make it work, make it better. It works, not the best, but I'm gonna make it better. Especially I have like some time off coming up next month, so I'm gonna spend that week, which I'm not gonna have like the greatest internet access to be able to live stream. I'll be spending that time revamping the website, making it much better, right? But let's find out. What is AWS private link? So to break it down, make it very, very easy for us to understand, because I don't like using these super technical terms. Imagine you have two houses. Your application is a house and a big neighborhood, the AWS cloud. Normally, if you want to send a message from one house to another, you might have to go out into the streets, the public internet, which can be risky because anyone can see your message, right? So AWS Private Link is like a private tunnel that connects your house directly so your messages can stay safe and no one can see them, right? So, or let's say, for instance, right, you want to go to your neighbor's house, but you don't want to go out in the street. What if you have a gate that goes between your house and your neighbor's house so that you don't have to go like through the front yard and everything like that? People see what's going on. You can just have that connection in the back, right? So that would be like a private connection. So what are the key points for the private link? It's a private connection. Instead of sending data over the public internet, private link lets your applications talk to each other through a private secure tunnel. Let me see if I can make this bigger as well. Let's go with that. All right. So security. Your data stays safe because it doesn't travel on the public internet. It's like passing secret notes through a hidden tube instead of shouting across the street. It's simpler setup. Setting up the private tunnel is easier than building a complicated route or using extra tools to keep your data safe. Service endpoints. Think of endpoints as a special door in your house that connect the tunnel or to the tunnel. These doors let your application use the private tunnel to talk to each other. And AWS and partner services. Many AWS services like storing files and streaming data can use private links, including Mongo Atlas. Also, services from other companies that work with AWS can use it too. Yep, Mongo Atlas, right? So share securely. You can share this private tunnel with other people you trust, like sharing a secret path with friends without worrying about strangers getting in. And it saves money. Using the private tunnel can be cheaper than paying to send lots of data over the public internet, right? So some use cases, the main use case that we can speak about is being able to connect it with MongoDB. So connecting applications. If you have different parts of an application running in different spaces, they can talk to each other safely using a private link. Connecting to AWS services. If your company has its own data center but uses AWS for some services, private link lets you connect without going over the public internet. And then working with partners. If you work with other companies, you can use private link to share the data. So, I mean, whether you want to consider the Mongo Atlas as connecting applications or working with partners, pretty much the same thing at the end of the day, right? So, so how does it work? We create a service. So first you set up a service in AWS that you want to connect to, like setting up a special phone line, create an endpoint. Next, you create an endpoint, a special door in your VPC, your virtual private network, your house in the cloud. To use that service, connect securely. Private links make sure your data travels through a private tunnel, keeping it safe and secure, right? So that's pretty much what the private tunnel is and how it works. Now I want to show you where, because I started down this path and I'm going to share with you the mistake that I ended up making in the process, all right? So if we go to, let me go to here. And we go here. So inside of Mongo, there is, so under the network access over here, this is the IP list is where you can add different IP addresses. Then we have the private, we have the peering, VPC peering, but what we used was private endpoint. And in the private endpoint, you're going to, like, let's say you create a new endpoint. Then you are going to say, all right, I'm using a serverless instance. So you choose the database that you're using and you say confirm. And then you're going to say, so I'm going to cancel this, but so from AWS, you're going to choose what VPC you're using and the subnets for your VPC. And you're going to go through the whole process. It's going to create some type of, it's going to create this for you. Let me get rid of that. I don't know why this is showing available, but it's going to create this for you. And then you're going to pass that information somewhere else. And then it's going to give you it's going to give you this VPC endpoint. You're going to pass that information somewhere else. And then it's going to do a bunch of stuff, right? But I ended up doing this during the week because I had to do it during the week. I wanted to wait till Sunday, but I'm like, all right, our sprint is ending on Sunday. I don't have time to waste. So I have to do it now, right? But I can show you what I did. So if we go to, you're also going to see where it popped into my mind of make it work and then make it better, right? So if we go over here, now I had created this right here that says VPC endpoint. That's what we have to create. I imported my default VPC from AWS. And then I said, all right, so the resource is AWS VPC endpoint. And I give it a name. And we say the service name of this VPC endpoint. And then we say, so we have to create the VPC endpoint in AWS in order for it to be able to communicate with one another. So I said here, this is the VPC that we're using. The VPC endpoint for when you're connecting to an external provider is going to be interface. And so at this point right here, I wanted to use a data import of my subnet IDs. However, I was like, I'm not too familiar with this. And I'm like, you know what? Let's see if it's going to work with the subnet IDs first. And then if it does, then we'll find out how we can just import it. And so that was the concept of make it work and then make it better, because it went through. But here's the thing: after it went through, we're still having some issues getting the connection to actually work. So there is actually another thing that, so I could see AWS was and the Mongo. It says, you see, like if we look over here, it says that it's actually, right? It says that it's available. This one, I don't know why this is here. Let me get rid of this one. Let's say terminate that one. All right. Had to make sure, because I see terminate serverless. And I'm like, I don't want to terminate the database. It says delete private endpoint. Yes, we want to delete that one. We're going to keep this other one. All right. So after this connection is made, right? And you also have to configure inside of AWS your security groups in order to be able to, you got to configure your security groups in order to say, all right, this VPC, and maybe we'll do another one. Maybe we'll end up doing it for, let's see, if we can get the ECS to work, right? And we want to connect to that database and share the same data, maybe we can get that to work, right? So yeah, maybe that'll be an opportunity to set up a new one, right? But it might also just work with the existing one. I don't know. But no, it should, because we did create a new VP. We created a new VPC when we do that. So that might be an opportunity. We'll see. We'll find out. But I had to create a connection between this Mongo Atlas connection, like the security group for that endpoint, and the actual application that is running the Elastic Beanstalk. All right. So once those two were connected, I'm like, all right, so I removed the network access that allows everything else to come in. And then every time I try to connect, I'm getting an error. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I swear, I tried to Google it, read the documentation. I could not find anything. And then there was this one little article that I found. I don't remember where it was, but it showed me that not only that you have to do this because that's a connection, you also have to go over to, let's say, database. And then when you click on connect, see, we actually have traffic going in and out right now. When you click on connect, okay. However, I'm using the private endpoint. So when I click on private endpoint, now it's going to ask me which one that I want to use. All right. And let me make sure there's not going to be any sensitive data showing here. Tired of changing passwords all the time. Let me see, choose connection method. All right, so right now I'm on choose connection method. So I'm going to say, let's say we go with drivers, make sure nothing else shows up over here. Let's go with that. This is a good thing about knowing how to use these tools, because I can just on the fly take out sensitive data. All right, so if we go back over here, so if we go back here, so now you see like it gives me a like the connection string. The difference is between what we had before. It adds this little part right here for private endpoint, because in the other one it doesn't have this right here, which makes it makes AWS not being able to connect to it. So after I had actually made this my connection string, then it was actually able to connect with no problem and stuff like that. So now, and then so the way I confirm that is by removing the private endpoint, or not removing the access from anywhere, from any IP address. I removed that, and then I tested it out, make sure it's still working, and that was able to go through, which led us to being able to deploy today. We are fully using our database for the app, for the Poopy Pants Quotes app. So if we go here and we click on that, this quote right here is actually loading from our MongoDB, no longer from my ghetto implementation using the Google Sheet. It was great while it lasted, but hey, we're the tech guys. We are the tech savages. We are using a real live database. So if we go back over here, let me see. How old is this? Let's go to view monitoring. And we should be getting something like really soon, because we just made a request. But I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Let's make another one. All right. If I had two options, to either be a 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, or can totally just fail until I succeed. I love that quote. But yeah, so that was the key part of it, though. It was getting the right, like getting that new endpoint, because nowhere said about that. Nowhere said about getting that new endpoint, but we're able to figure it out, and here we are, right? So I just wanted to share my trek and my mission. I already shared about the mistake about the, what do you call that thing? The oh, look at that. See, it just came through. The request that we made right there. Boom. See that? I'm kind of blocking it, but let me hide myself for a second here. Let me see. Let's hide myself. So, you see, like the request that we made just came through. So we are fully using the database to show on the website. So that is a major accomplishment by the Tech Barbarians. Allow me to reintroduce myself. So let's clap it up for the Tech Barbarians. All right, so we are at break, and let's do this. Let me see. We are going to be talking about a video that I saw during the break, and we're gonna limit the time for the break to 5 minutes, and we'll break down the video in chunks. It's like about an 8-minute video, but I want to stop and have some commentary on it. And your car, remember I was asking you about how in the world do we get those videos in there? Figure it out. There is a embed, like there's a widget option in the software, makes it really cool. You are going to see now, right? So let's put up for 5 minutes. And we're going to go here and say, go to here. So this video, it was called something about, what was the name of this video? It was gossip, gaslighting, and gatekeeping in the workplace. I wanted to watch this video with you guys, have some commentary, see what you guys think. If you guys know me, you know where I might be headed with this one. But I am happy that the people's champ is here in the chat to defend all of his homies. So let's get to it.
Now, rudeness and pettiness on the rise in work environments. According to the Society for Human Resource
And give me a thumbs up if you can actually hear that in the chat. Like, are you guys able to hear that?
Management, 66% of U.S. employees have experienced or witnessed incivility at work within the past month. Anton Gunn, CEO of 937 Strategy Group and former senior advisor to President Barack Obama, joins us to talk about this trend. So when we take a look at workplace incivility, first of all, for the viewer, explain exactly what that is and how bad it's becoming.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. First, let me say workplace incivility is a big word, but let's boil it down to disrespect in the workplace, where people are being mistreated by their colleagues and their coworkers in the workplace is a simple way to define it. And so many people experience it every single day at work.
Now, why do you think we're seeing an increase as of late? I think your recent study from a human resources management group indicated 66% of U.S. employees have experienced or witnessed incivility at work within the past month, and another 57% within the past week. So why are we seeing so much now in the workplace?
Well, we have to think about the context that work has dramatically changed since the pandemic. People's tolerance level is.
So, my first question is, are you part of the 66% who experience workplace incivility? Who feel like you're getting bullied or spoken down to and stuff like that at work? I'm curious. I don't know. I don't know, because I mean, there's so many different jobs, right? There's so many different industries, which they're just talking about in general. But I'm just wondering, like, is that a big thing? Maybe because I mean, trying to think for myself, have I experienced workplace incivility? It's hard for me to say yes, because anyone can take anything as hurt feelings. When what is the goal that we're trying to accomplish? I mean, I don't know. I guess there could be at least one incident or something like that maybe I went through that was not civil, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
Much shorter. People are more focused on taking care of themselves. And sometimes that creates friction in the workplace. And what we found in our state of workplace injustice study, that 66% of people experience all kinds of hostility in the workplace in the last year. Sometimes it's ostracism. Sometimes it's incivility. Other times it's just outright aggression and abuse. And so the real important thing here is to understand that it's more rampant than we've ever seen. And there's a massive economic cost to how people are being mistreated in the workplace.
And you have just given us some examples of incivility in the workplace, but you also point out some very basic examples that you have had and you have seen that people have been through, from gaslighting to workplace gossiping. All could be harmful to you on the job.
They're incredibly harmful on the job. And sometimes it's.
So gaslighting on the job, gossiping and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure like all workplaces have some, because all right, if people gossip outside of work, what makes us think that they're not going to gossip at work? Because people make friends everywhere they go. Is that the best practice to make friends at work? It depends. I think it depends on the person, because I could never say like, oh, anyone that you ever meet at work, you should never become friends with them, because that doesn't make much sense. Because if you connect with on something, then I don't see anything wrong with being friends with people at work. But back
to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work.
So here's a question, right? What exactly is gaslighting? Because I've heard that certain words, their definitions can just change based on the time, how people feel about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, for me, I like words that have strict definitions so that we can all speak the same language. So what exactly, like when people say, oh, they're gaslighting me, what exactly does that mean? And what does it mean to be gaslit at work? That I don't know. One of the things that I always say is don't 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 jump to don't attribute malice to what can be attributed to incompetence, right? So for me, I always have that mindset. So I never feel anything, or I'm like, oh, they just don't know any better. Like that's how I mean, they just don't know any better, and they just need some correction or guidance or whatever like that. But that's my thought. That is our first. That's we are at 2 minutes and 20 seconds into this video. Cool. So we'll pick up after that as well. Probably have to restart. Let me see. Can I do that? Let me see. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyways, we shall figure it out. Let's check out the chat real quick. But that is a video that I want to watch during the break, and we shall go from there. All right. So we had, let's see. All right. Thanks for letting me know that you guys were able to hear the video. I'm happy I was able to figure out this because it looked way better than sharing my whole browser screen or my whole screen. And your car says this varies on workplace environments. I agree. You know, because like when I first started watching the video, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's actually the case. But there's also so many different workplaces around and stuff like that. So, because I see it from like the lens of the jobs that I've had in the past, which is mostly in tech spaces and stuff like that. I did work at a park and a library when I was a teenager. But there's people who work in like the restaurant industry, people who work in hospitality. It could also depend on like the type of position that you have as well. So yeah, it does. I'm pretty sure like that stuff happens. But I guess another question is like, how do you deal with that? Right? How do you deal with that? So your car also says any labor heavy job will have less of these issues. These usually arise in office environment. That I can. But I'll say this though. I have a friend who works for. It's not an office job, but they do have like a union over there and stuff like that. And sometimes there's some serious drama that be happening over there. So I don't know, but I do agree with you though that like labor heavy jobs, there's less time to focus on a bunch of pettiness and nonsense. Office jobs, like they say, like people work like 3 hours out of the day, so they have 5 hours to get into some nonsense. All right. So that is great insight from your car. As always, let's get into our next portion of the show. Let's put up another 20-minute timer.
Let's go! Let's go!
Roxy says it also happens in healthcare. I could see that. Yeah. Then nurses can be petty. I'll tell you that. That's a good point. That is a good point. I didn't even think about. See, there's so many different sectors about it. You know, so it's hard to. You can't say it. It has to happen. It has to happen because of it's people at the end of the day. It's people at the end of the day. All right. So where are we headed to now? So we want to work on troubleshooting, or not troubleshooting, but fixing our ECS. Right. So we're gonna go into let me see. Let's go into our Docker folder over here. So let's close this stuff down. Let's go over here. Your car says office job, exactly. Is nursing an office job? Or healthcare, is that an office job? I guess it depends on what role in healthcare. It's like right in the middle to me because it's like you're not sitting at a cubicle for the most part, but it is a little bit more of a like nicer environment than like working outdoors in the sun and having to like lift heavy things unless it's like a really heavy person. But I don't know. That's a good one. It's like, to me, healthcare might be like right in between there. Maybe more closer to the office side though. All right, we are going to our Docker folder and we're going to go to our network. So if I recall correctly, part of the issue that we were having was the target was not focusing on the we're trying to get to port 80 when we should have been going to port 3000. So let's see if we can find this. So we have the route public subnet traffic to internet access gateway. Or let's see. So this is here. Let's say load balancer. Let's check our load balancer. So with our load balancer, we have it going towards a security group. And we did this manually last week to try to figure this out. And what we ended up doing was going to, it was a port 3000 somewhere in there. Let's see. So this is a target group. Front end listener. And HTTP traffic port. So let me, because I know in this variables file, there's probably going to be some data in there. So let me go over here and let's go to the variables. Oh, there's no data in this variables file. Or I have it in some other file. All right, cool. I can share this file. So let's go to show that again. All right, so traffic HTTP port, traffic port to access application publicly. Traffic HTTP port, app port. I'm pretty sure the error is happening somewhere around here. So let's look at our, because that's the area where we were figuring it out last week inside on this show. So if we look at our ECS plan and we go to, why is this such a big space? We look at, so container port 3000, host port 3000, and then the target group has to connect to that 3000. All right, let's see. So load balancer, container port, app port. So app port is set to default value is 3000. Let me go into AWS real quick. I'm not going to rebuild the whole thing, but I'm going to look at our, let's go to, just want to make sure I get the right one. Load balancers. So we have, and this is going to be a little different because, let me see. It's one of those I have to change to 3000. Just trying to find out exactly which one. Target group. This one, healthy. I think that's where we were, the registered targets. Let me see, select an instance. Okay, so let's go with this one. And let me see. Networking. Let's see. Somewhere over here, target groups. We have total target. It says port 80 here. If we go to what's good, welcome NT Worker. How are you doing today? We are just trying to figure out this Terraform, Terraform with Elastic Container Services, listeners and rules, port 80, port 443. All right, so I'm gonna change something here. Just gotta find the right one. So this one says app port container, target group, and if we look at our here, this is saying to use traffic port, which is 443. AWS ALB listener front end. Let's go up a little bit more. Health check. HTTPS target HTTPS group. Port 80. Let me see. ECS network. That's the subnets. Let's see. Anything in here? So this is just creating the. I could probably turn this into a module as well. We'll look into modules probably next week. All right. So the load balancer. I just need to make sure that we're going to the right port. So AWS ALB listener front end traffic. Actually, let me go. Let's go look at this website real quick. Well, yeah, let's look at this real quick. Let's go over here. And registered target is not in service. Security group does not allow. Is that the one I wanted to look at? The target did not return a successful code. Cannot connect to an internet-facing load balancer. Load balancer shows elevated processing times. Nah. Level 2 bad gateway. Load balancer. The target closed the connection. So I think I'm going to. Because I'm not 100% sure where it's going to pop up in the. I know where it needs to change. I'm just not sure where it's going to pop up, right? So we're going to do it here. I'm going to go to. I don't think it was the listener we did it on. This is telling it to go to port 443. All right, let's bring it up. I'm going to just change this one to start off with to port PPQ target HTTPS group. I think it's that. Let's see. Which one do we go with? I'm going to go with this one. See what happens. Let's see what happens here, right? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but we shall find out in just a moment. cd.docker. What am I doing? Let's clear Docker. Terraform apply. Let's see what happens. And we're going to go with yes. It's going to take some time to bring everything up. So, because I know where I got it inside of in the console. I believe it was here, but I'm not entirely sure where it's going to pop up through the Terraform. So we shall figure that out once it gets it there. Let's go to. Watch the stream from last week. Maybe I should watch my own streams, you know? Let's see if I go to VPC. So while it's doing this thing over there, because we can always update it afterwards, let's go here. Let's see what we have. Target. What is this? I don't know what VPC lattice is. Let's not look at that. Let me see. Let's look around over here while we wait. Internet gateways. Let's see. So Terraform is doing its thing, building out our infrastructure, and that's one of the reasons that I really, really love Terraform. Because imagine if we were trying to go through this stuff every single week, and we had to like manually create this, and then bring it. Well, I'm not familiar with the other services yet. I think AWS might have one. I forgot the name of it, but CloudForm maybe. But whether it's Terraform or whatever. Just the automation part is what's very, very important to me. So So that's why like we can get it started and we can start looking around for other stuff and we can go from there. So let's take a look at, let's see here. I'm just looking for where we had updated it last time. It must be in BBC. Must have been in load balancers. Let's see what's getting created. So this one is getting created. And that's the one that's being built. And once that's built, we just need to make sure that it has that right setting that we're looking for. There goes a target group right here. And then we're going to get a registered target at some point. And what we can probably do is, I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but I was gonna say we could probably just manually change it because I remember it was here. Your card, correct me if I'm wrong. It was here that we had to change that. We had to add like register that target to be port 3000 as opposed to port 80, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember 100% because that was a week ago. You guys, you know how much things I've been into a whole week ago. You know, fixing things at work. Fixing things for the coaching group, all that type of stuff. But all right, so your car says yes. Shout out to your car. Your car has the memory of an elephant, unless it's somebody he doesn't like anymore. So that's a whole different thing. Because I'll be like, hey, your car, remember this? Who? I'm like, oh, my bad, my bad. All right, so let's go here. All right, so it's still doing its thing. Let's look around. See, now I'm in trouble because, yeah, I try to say the name. Trying to say, oh my God, I hate when this happens because I don't say it enough. Me messify. I know that's terrible. That's terrible. It's so bad. It is so bad. It's so bad. I hate not being able to get the name right, you know? Terrible. But what's good? What's good? How are you doing? How are you doing today? Happy to have you here as, you know, I'm just going to show it because I always try and I make it, I get it so badly and it makes me feel so bad. I'm terrible. But welcome. Appreciate you being here as always and keep up the good work on your channel as well. I see it's growing, it's getting growth, getting views. So keep up the good work. I am very, very excited to see what you're working on. So keep it up. All right. So we have our infrastructure has been created, right? It says it's done. And I don't know if this is actually going to work. Let's see if this works. I'm trying, man. I am trying. You know what? Do you like your cardio and break it up into pieces so I can make sure I say it right? Because I want to be able to get it because I do appreciate you a lot. All right, let me go here. And that's not coming up. All right, cool. So it's going to be, what do we do it as? I forgot what domain we use. All right, so let's go back over here. And let's refresh that. Do we have any registered targets? We do. Target is available. Target registration is in progress. Target is available. Unused. I don't know why that's like that, but let's see. So if we were to go to ECS, Elastic Container Service, let's see what we got. And let's see. How bad is it looking over here? Do we have any? We have 2 up. Why do we have 2 up? I don't know. All right. So 2 completed. What's the state of them though? Tasks. Running. That sounds promising. So what is my me, myself, I? Me, myself, I. Me, myself, I. Ah, me, myself, I. Got it. Got it. See, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Me, myself, I. So me, myself, I. What's the phi? Just out of curiosity, what's the phi? But I got it. Me, myself, I. Now I'll never get it wrong again. Me, myself, I. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
All right, see, because I have manners. I like to address people by their name, you know, and I feel so bad when I'm trying to say a name and I butcher it. Oh, it makes me feel terrible. All right, so let's continue. Let's go here, hosted zones, and we go to, which one did I put it on? I think I put it on this one. ECS dev. Let's go here, and let's see moment of truth. All right, but we're making progress because we kind of remember what we're doing, but let's see if we can get any details on what is going wrong, right? So we look at the logs. So this is expected. There's no database to connect to. What's this deployment stuff? Something is running when is desired. So let's look at our target group again. And both of them are normal. Me, myself, and oh, I like that. I like that. I got you. Me, myself, and I merged together. Me, myself, I. That's dope. That is dope. I must say that is dope.
Let's get it.
All right. That's pretty cool. So, all right. So we have this. Let me see. If I go register target, and we were to say here, port included as pending below. Initial and unused. What does that mean? 2 total targets, 0 are healthy. Why are they not? All right. Let me see. If we go here. And let's see. Target. So we were in targets last time. But why is it unused? So let's say let me try to do something. Let's say we go to
Lunch break. Lunch break.
So what I will try to do, let me just take a quick look at this, right? And then we'll go to break. So VPC here, right? And then say port 3000, including as pending below. Review IP targets in your current group. I don't know. I'm just going to click on this for, enter I don't know what that means. Add IPv4. We got something different. I have an idea. We'll do this on when we return, right? But I have an idea. We shall take a look and find out. But let's go to break. All right, let's go to break. Let's go to here. So we're at break, and we are going to get back to our video that we're looking at before in our first break. And I'm going to have to fast forward to like the 2
Now,
minutes.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. People
And you have seen that people have been through from.
And sometimes it's even more mundane than that. Just remember that when you create clicks at work, that isolates more.
Been through from gaslighting to workplace gossiping. All could be harmful to you on the job.
They're incredibly harmful on a job. And sometimes it's even more mundane than that. Just remember that when you create cliques at work, that isolates someone. When you decide to leave a person off an email who should be on an email, or you don't invite them to the happy hour, you're creating an environment where people feel like it's uncivil, they feel unjust, and that allows them.
I didn't start the timer, the break timer. All right, let's put a break timer up. But I'll tell you this, right? I used to hate getting invited to like happy hours and outings and stuff like that. Oh my god! Like when I worked in the office and like, oh, I'm like, I would always find an excuse. Me being left off of email, I would not be upset about it at all because I'm already as busy as it is, So now to be able to keep up with all the excess stuff that's happening, and oh, they didn't tell me that they were ordering lunch, and oh, they didn't offer me any food, and for me, and that's why I'm like, I just stay to myself. I do what I have to do. Those who rock with me, I rock with them. But I've never been one to get caught up in my feelings about, because my focus first is always on the work, right? On our next pause, I'll let you know. I'll give you an example of what happened to me because I'll just give you. But let's go.
To make a decision that I don't want to be a part of this group, but they may not quit their job. They may just disengage. And the economic impact of them disengagement is really significant on loss of productivity and loss of value to the employer.
Now, when we talk about that incivility, like a happy hour or an event after work, and you're a coworker, what if the coworker says, look, it's not my job to make sure you're okay? I would say it's a supervisor's job or the manager's job, but is that the responsibility of your coworkers to make sure you're okay?
Great question. I will say to you that it's everybody's responsibility because think about it. When we work together, we're working as a team. No one really works by themselves anymore. And so you're only strong as the weakest link on your team. So it is everybody's responsibility. I would say a disproportionate part of their responsibility is on the supervisor. And we found in our research study that supervisor mistreatment was one of the things that really makes people disengage more, that they get this level of unfairness and disconnection from their supervisors. But overall, I would say every employee has a responsibility to make sure that their teammates are included, particularly if you all want to achieve the goals that you set out.
So is it your coworker's job to make sure that you feel included and welcomed and stuff like that? I don't know. For me at least, I think it's my job to make sure that I do what I have to do, and that I always make sure that people are feeling welcomed and stuff like that when whoever I'm talking to. But I don't know. I think a lot of times, and I guess I could be wrong because of the industry that I've been working in, but I think a lot of times that people are, and it goes outside of work, but people are looking for validation and acceptance by everyone who they really aren't that important into your life. Like when I go to work, I go to work. When I go to work, I go to work. And I'm very professional for all the jobs. Maybe not one job, maybe that's the park job, but for the most part, with all the jobs, I was very professional with people and courteous, and making sure things were running and stuff like that. Now, I don't say you shouldn't go out of your way to be a jerk to people, but I think the responsibility also comes back on the individual to, because is it ever the person who is being left out, the person that's uneasy to work with, who's going to cause havoc and chaos, and are they avoided because of that? I don't know. But real quick, so the thing that happened to me, right? Because when I get to work, I was straight to the point. I'm like, all right. So the morning comes around, I'm like, all right, can you send me this? Can you send me that? Boom, boom. And you also have to remember the people that you work with as well, because you can have very different cultural differences. Me, I've always like, especially like, I don't know if it's my cultural background or just the way that my family works with one another. But by family, I mean like extended family and stuff like that. But we are more of the type of like, all right, you call somebody or you text somebody, like you get to business first, and then you talk about like, oh, by the way, how are you doing, stuff like that. But we'll get a call like, hey, can you do this, this, and that? Oh, like I need that from you.
Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
So that's pretty much how we move. And then after we get all business resolved, then we're like, oh, by the way, how you doing? How you doing? Right? And like, we good to talk for like 30 seconds. All right, cool. Talk to you later. Whatever. Now, now at work, I sent somebody something. Oh, I need this or that. But they were like from a I think like they were like Hispanic background. And with a lot of times with the Hispanic background, like they like, oh, good morning, and they make the small talk first, and then you get to the thing, to whatever it is that you need. So I'm like, oh, can you send me this? And they're like, good morning to you. I'm like, oh, my bad. Good morning. How are you? I get through the small talk, and then all right, and then same thing I wrote before. Can you send me this? But I'm like, for me, I'm more about getting the work done. It's like if I didn't say good morning, right? Is that a what's the first thing in this video they call I don't know, gossip, or not? It's not gossip, but is it being rude? Like if I don't say good morning to someone on the job because I ask you for actual work stuff, is that being rude? I don't know, because there's been plenty of time. There's been like, and then I have to, after the fact, I'm like, oh crap. Like I'll send you, hey, your card. Like, can you do this and that or whatever? And and I'm like, oh snap. I'm like, good morning. But it's not like, I don't think that like, but it's just, and I always come back to me like, oh man, I should say good morning, especially if it's like 7 a.m. for me and it's like 4 a.m. for him, and I'm sending him a message and I'm like, oh crap. Like, by the way, good morning. How you doing? And stuff like that. But that was an experience that I had like over 10 years ago, maybe like 14 years ago, and I was like, oh, well, just be careful. Just be careful. Always say good morning, even though like it's And the thing, like I don't even work for and it's, I don't know. Like for me, when you're at work, I like to like cut out the small talk, because a lot of times in small talk, things can be taken out of context. And that's why I avoid small talk like the plague. I'm like, I focus strictly on work, because look, I ain't trying to get caught up. I ain't trying to get caught up. So that's my thoughts behind it. Let me know what you think in the chat. But we're gonna go to full screen. I'm gonna check the chat, and we're gonna do our last segment-ish. Yeah, last segment-ish. And your car said he sent me something. I don't have my phone with me. Let me open Discord real quick. Let me see. I think I know what he sent me, but we shall see. Maybe a screenshot. Let me see. Let's see here. That's exactly what I was gonna pull up. Let me go to that. Let me get it queued up, and then we'll take a look at that. And let's go to here. Even sent me the timestamp. What an amazing friend, I tell you. All right, let's go over here to 234. All right. I will. We can just put it like this. Let's go here. We'll use my cool new YouTube thingy that I got for our software. And I will get, all right, so cool. So let's check the chat real quick, and then we will get back to our last segment of today so that we can, let's go. All right, so let's see. We got my guy in the building, Junior. What's going on with you? How are you doing today? Happy to have you here as always. And so your car said check the Discord. I got that. That's what I was gonna look for. Appreciate it. And let's see what else we got. So your car said bull. I'm not responsible for your bad actions. I can't collect your check. So what you do is not on me. Are you going to stand up and fight for someone else at work, or should they stand up and fight for themselves? That's a good question, Now, if there's some extremes that yeah, but I'm like for the most part, like, oh, somebody said this to me. I'm like, all right, man, like you just talk to the person. A lot of times things get misconstrued because there's no communication. People get hurt feelings without actually having a conversation on, is that what you really meant? Especially a lot of times things are happening through text or sometimes people are very direct. And that directness gets taken as rudeness, Me, like I said, I always give the benefit of the doubt, especially at work, because I'm like, at the end of the day, once I log off, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. All right. And Junior also says, I say yes and no depending on the work environment job. Yep, exactly. That's what I said earlier today. Like the gossip, what was the second one? Gatekeeping and gossip. There was something and gatekeeping, right? Gaslighting, gossip, and gatekeeping. I think it depends on the type of work that you do. When you work closely with one another and there is not a lot of work circulating, then there's definitely going to be that stuff happening, And let's see. Yeah. So your car agrees with Junior. Awesome. All right. Let's get to this one right quick. So what I'm going to have to do is, let's do this. We're going to go here to the other. We're going to try some magic out real quick. All right. Let's go back to this screen right here. And I'm going to copy, paste. Let me see if that's going to work. And we're going to go with that. And I'm going to do, because now that I have this cool YouTube share, I'm just going to use that from now on. Edit widget and drop that in there. And boom, shout out to your car. He knew exactly what I was going to look for. And I'm going to watch myself. Fair use, of course, What? Playback. So I'll figure that out, but we'll just do the normal share screen in that case. We're going to go to, I don't know why I should. Anyway, whatever. We'll just do the normal share screen and we'll watch it this way. No big deal. So let's see what I was talking about. It's like Tech Coach Ralph Inception. The sound is off. Let me clean up get a better quality video here. I'm not entirely sure what let me check the target before we wrap it up. So port 3000. Registered target port 3000. Healthy. That's what it is. The registered target. But why does it have two of them there? Because if we compare it over here, that's what it is. Boom. There we go. That's what your car was saying. Got it. See? There we go. Because if we compare it over here, that's what it is. Boom. So with that being said, in that case, if we go to target group, we have a unused one and we have we have two registered targets. Why do we have two? And I didn't start the timer. Let's start our last timer.
It's time to do.
So why is there two of them though? That's the thing. Because in the and what we got to work manually, there's just one over here, US East 1, and in the one that we have over here, we have two of them, but neither of them. Target is in an availability zone that is not enabled for load balancer. Really? Target is in an availability zone that is not enabled for the load balancer. Okay, so that's giving us some context. Let's go for our load balancer then. So somewhere along the way, we have a configuration issue. Availability zone, we have US East 1A and US East 1 Okay. So with that being said, if we look at our code again, why do we have a load balancer in a different, or a target in a different area? VPC main ID. We look at our security, VPC main ID, ingress, egress, load balancer ID, app port 3000, 3000, egress, all right. Network. So, let's see. AZ count 2. CRD block. AZ count plus index count. Let's see. Let's see. Map on public count index. All right, let me see. All right, let's try to do this, right? Because we see the enabled availability zones. We have 1A and 1B. But the target group is using, we have 1B. So what if we say details, distribution of availability zones? Why is it using 1D? That doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna just deregister this one. So, or maybe we register one before we deregister anything. But now I don't know what IP is trying to connect from. Oh, I have an idea. So let's go over to load balancer. I don't understand in the Terraform why it's going to that the other one. Plus index count. Because it shouldn't have done it for. It shouldn't have done it for. What in the world is that? How did I get here? Oh, that's why. Let's go here. So this is telling us that load balancers, there's 2 of them in here. US East 1A and US East 1B. So if we go to forward to target group, this one. But this is definitely part of the problem because it's going to this target group that it's on different zones, and that's not right. And where are these IP addresses coming from? Distribution of target. Why did you do that? Let me see something. Action. Associate with an existing load balancer. We have this one. That is so weird. I'm not sure where in the configuration that mix up, because that's the reason that it's not working. You should be using the same availability zones. What if I'm just gonna deregister that one. I don't know what's going on with this. So we go to, I'm just gonna deregister that to get started. Because this one shouldn't even be here, so we're gonna get rid of that one. I don't know why it's like that though. I thought I said to deregister. Successfully deregistered. I don't know where these enter an IPv4 from a VPC subnet. So if I look at over here and we look at, where's the VPC subnet? Sorry. So let's look at VPC. Open link in new tab. VPCs. And I think that's the new one. So there is a D here, but the green ones must be the ones getting used. Let's see here. Let's go. I don't know. This stuff is weird. Let's see. Something's wrong with my Terraform though, for sure. Because well, that didn't work. Target is a subnet. Target is in the subnet. All right, I guess not. So if we look at this subnet, let's put 2.1 or something. I don't know. Like, we're not getting any errors. That's the part that's weird to me. I don't know. That's the weird part. But let's see. Register pending targets, I guess. Registration. Let's see what it means by registration in progress. Registered target AWS stuck in initial. Target groups never come out of initial. Let's see. I understand why the target group that I have created for HTTP traffic, port 80, connecting to a network load balancer to an application load balancer never comes out of registration state. All right. How about your instances that are being registered with the target group, ECS? And if ECS, you should use IP instead of instance for target group and so on. Besides, how is the security group? That is weird. All right, so register your target. So the first issue that we're having is that when we did the Terraform apply, it created this zone for this IP address. This one should have been right, but in the load balancer, there's only 2 availability zones that are there. So I'm not sure where it got this. I'm not sure where it got this the US East 1D from. And the other thing is it's stuck inside of initial and it never actually completes the registration process. If I look on where is that? If I look on, let's say we go to here. I don't see any errors. Or maybe now I do. Let me see. Task running. Logs. I'm not seeing any errors like I used to see before. So I'm pretty sure the app is started up, but I can't, and it's for some reason it's creating two of the, services instead of one. Or not two of the services, but when I click on here, two deployments. And it has two tasks that are running. So that's the part that's confusing me right here. Because in the video, we had US East 1, healthy, port 3000, this over here. But when we do the ECS, that's what it is. The registered target is the issue. There we go. That's what your car was saying. Got it. See, your car port 80. You need to application. That's what I was saying earlier. But then now it has me doing all this weird stuff, and then I have to do. So let's see if we go back to where I actually put in the port. I need to create a new. Oh, I did it over here. Maybe I need to create a new service. Maybe that's what. Maybe I need to create a new service. I don't know. Let me go and check. I don't. Confused. Maybe I just need. All right. So we're on port 80. So all right. So let me go check this. Hold on a second. Let me see. Target. Create a new one, and we had this to this. Create new target. And for the new on port 80. So all right, so let me go to 80. We were go here, and we were under load balancing, and we said we wanted an application load balancer, and we said create a new one, and we had this to this. Created a new listener on port 80. So, all right, so let me go change. Let's see, this further back. What did I do? The issue then. Let's go back some more. All right, whatever. So I'll figure out how to. And that's what I mean. It's not the like, right? Okay, so I gotta go back over here. Let me see where I changed it. Let me see where I changed it. We have inbound listening on port 80. The application is exposed on port. So target group selected. But this is the way that you have to figure this stuff out, because we got it working manually, but somehow when we started up, it didn't start up. It didn't do the same thing that we did manually. So, I mean, it created a brand. So here we are. I don't know. I have an idea. So let's probably see how we set up the load balance. The load balance for. Let's see. Isn't it good to be able to reference your own work? Let's see here. What answer is it required to use? Like, all right. Configuration. All right, so let's look at here. And let's look at I shouldn't have gone off screen. All right, let me see. Let's see here. I should have got a knife. So over here, let's see what we got here. Keep going. Passport 3000. There we go. So it should be right here. AWS task definition. Host node network interface. Host port that the container exposes to map. That is also a problem then. So the container port and container port 3000. I think we'll have that though. Add port mapping to allow the container to access ports on the host. Let's look at that real quick because I'm pretty sure we have that because if we didn't, the app wouldn't even get that far. But if we go over into the task configuration, or just go to task definitions, and we look at this one, that one, and we go to JSON. So this is good. So that's good. That was an issue that we had when we set it up manually. So let's keep looking over here. Change it. So that one we got that. So that one is good. We already checked that one. That is correct. So they have to match. Go back to this. Let's go back to service. Here. Manual. Got that. Sorry, let's look at this part right here. So let's pause right here. So, all right. So application load balancer, container. All right, that's correct. Container and port to load balance the incoming traffic to. Create new listener 80. Create a new target group. Okay. Specify whether you to create a new target or choose an existing one that the load balance we use to route requests. Give a load balancer a name. Let's see. Yeah, there is nothing that I set here to be 3000 though. Last try. That's so weird. There's nothing that I set there for it to be 3000. Running. All right, so now let me see what else we were doing in the between. Let's see here. All right, so we got through this chat. And now configuration.
Lunch break.
The moment of truth. Let me take a look at this configuration real quick. So this one, we have our subnets. We have everything here. All right, so that worked here. But let's see. Let's see here. I don't know why. All right, so we had that running. And we have so we have the registered target. See that that's it, and that's the part that. So protocol is HTTP port 3000. If we go look over here, and we go to target group, one target group registered. See, it's like stuck with this over here. Oh, wait a second. This is wrong though. This is wrong. See, protocol port is 3000 when this should be 3000. If we're comparing it to this one, protocol port should be 80, but port over here should be 3000. Where is that being set? See, now, see, something in the Terraform is causing some confusion over here. So, see how this part right here? Target type. So, is there an issue with the load balancer then? Associated with the new load balancer. So, let's take a look at our load balancer. Let me see. Load balancer, network mapping. There's something in the, let me see. Something weird with my variables happening. All right, so the load balancer would have to be, so we have this, Not sure about the subnet, but let me see here. So ECS plan. So and that's why we're not getting any errors for our ECS tasks, because those are good. Those are starting, but somewhere along the line, okay, app port. Oh, here, right here. This is the problem. So this should be maybe HTTPS. So this is probably the issue happening right here. So this is good. And then if we go to our target, target forward, target, and then HTTPS traffic fork for the listener. And there should be some type of target up here somewhere. Target group port 3. I think I got it. Let's see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to apply the Terraform, and then we're going to go to finish up the break. And if it's done by then, we shall investigate and see what we get, right? But let's see what we can do. Let's go with yes. Let's see if it's going to go through. Damn it. ECS service, updating ECS service, invalid parameter. Did not have a container port. The container TF PPQ app did not have what? 443. The container. All I did was change this though. So it must be something in here then. Load balancer container port. Oh, container. Yeah, so that's correct then. Oh, wait a second. So the container port is going to be app port. Let's look up the this is under AWS service. So let me go back to the service. Like, there's so many little details in this stuff that one wrong move and the whole thing goes kaboom. Invalid parameter TF does not have a container port for. So if we go, this stuff is looking over here. One failed. Maybe the one that was using the other one failed. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. No, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna do thinking. Configuration and networking. Let's see. Event. Target group. CPS. Listener port 443. Application load balancer. If we look at our load balancers, this load balancer is going to port 443. However, this target group is saying protocol HTTPS 3000. This should be 3000, but this should not be 3000. But I don't know how to. Let me see. If I do create a target group, and I see application load balancer, and I do 443, and we say PPQ mixed Terra manual, and I choose this VPC, and I say health check HTTPS, and I do next, and I say application load balancer. So we're like semi doing it manually just so we can see if this is going to work. PPQ load balancer has a listener on port 443, and let's say create target group. Let's create that for now. And if that works, then we'll have a good idea of what's going on. Let me see. Target group. There goes this one. I don't know. That's weird. But it does have the right port up here. So there's somewhere when we are doing our when we're doing our when we are doing our target group over here, there's something that's missing. Because if we look at this target group, HTTPS 3000, but the port itself, that's, I feel like something's got to be missing. Let me see. Let's look this up real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up. So I would love to get this thing to work. Terraform. Looking at over here. Would love to get this to work, right? So I wonder if there's a missing field that so we have port 80, protocol, HTTP, VPC. So health check, load balancing. Let's see what port does. Port may be required, forces new resource port on which traffic on target receives traffic unless overridden when registering a specific target. Required when target type is instance, IP, or ALB. Does not apply when target type is Lambda. Target type I have is IP. All right. Protocol may be required, forces new resource Protocol to use for routing traffic to the target should be one. We have it as protocol HTTPS, all right? So why is it sending it to... That's the part I'm kind of confused about. If the target type is IP, specify IP addresses from the subnet of the virtual cloud for the target group. Application load balance do not support ALB target type, all right? VPC ID, we have that. Port. It's like the ports are getting confused. Anyways, I'm gonna tear this down and I'll tear it back up after the show because and if I figure it out, then I'll let you guys know next week because this is like weird. I got the configuration, but I wonder if Terraform is... I wonder if I'm leaving something out of Terraform. It's not Terraform that's doing, but I wonder if I'm leaving something else out because something definitely feels like it's missing to me. Yeah. Anyways, that is it. Let's go and let's finish watching this video and then we'll wrap it up for today. We'll check the chat and stuff like that. What's good, Ferris? What's going on? Yeah, let's finish watching this video and then we will wrap it up for today. And let's get this one off the screen because apparently I do not allow my own content to be played. So I have to change that setting because I'm surprised that happened. Oops. Let's go with that one. So we were... Let me see.
Now, root
Say to you that
lighting someone at work. So when you say workplace injustice in the environment of incivility, what is that on the job?
Yeah, the easiest way for me to give you an example of what workplace injustice looks like is that, let's say in the workplace, you get chewed out for something that you really didn't do, or you get blamed for something that didn't happen. And you have a colleague or coworker who saw it all go down and know that you didn't have anything to do with it, but they choose not to step up and say, hey, this is not right. So it's like when your colleagues don't speak up on your behalf, it's easy for people to feel like that this is unfair. And you contribute to an unfair environment by not saying anything about it. Now, employees don't say anything about it because they are afraid to be retaliated against. And sometimes they don't want to be the focus of the attention. So they sometimes sit by. But to all employees, that says this is an unfair, unjust place to work. And therefore, I'm going to disengage. I'm going to quit. Or worst case, they start to commit these counterproductive workplace behaviors.
Now, when we talk about women and minorities in the workplace, what did your progress report show on those accord?
Well, it's not surprising that women and people of color experience more injustice than the average person, that they tend to experience it in sometimes of microaggressions. People discriminate against their gender or their...
I love the term microaggressions, but let's keep going.
An identity or sexual orientation or the color of their skin. So it's a higher level propensity of injustice that happens to people of color and women. But overall, it happens to everyone. This is a people problem. When 66% of all employees are experiencing it, we know that it's a people problem.
And of course, we'll continue this conversation right after.
So do you think the 66% is actually accurate? That from my experience, right? From my experience in working for the past 20 something years, is that people in general don't want to work and they're generally unhappy. Like I can't count how many times, like when Monday comes around, oh my God, it's Monday. Oh my God. Oh, Friday. Friday, right? And I'm like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you know what? I'm the one with the problem, right? Hello, my name is Tech Coach Ralph, and I have a problem because I actually like to work. I like to work so much that after I get off work, I create more work for myself by thinking of coaching and And to me, going to train jujitsu, that's another job for me. Going to, doing presentations and stuff like that with Curry, that's another job for me. Doing content, creating like the presentations or recording, that's another job for me. On top of having a family and stuff like that. I guess I just love to work. But so many people that I come across, it's like, oh my God, it's such a burden. Oh my God, work, work, work. I just want to go on vacation. I want to go on vacation so much that I'm going to sign up for a pyramid scheme that I'm going to pay to go. I'm going to pay extra so I can have the ability and the opportunity to go on more vacations. But I just think that I think the mindset that you bring to wherever you go is part of this what this video is ultimately alluding to. Because me with the mindset that I have, like, oh, I'm here to learn, I'm here to work and stuff like that, figure things out. People might be rude to me and I don't even notice it. I don't even because I'm like, okay, cool. So how are we gonna figure this out? I just like I see past the whatever treatment that might or might not be happening, and I'm like, cool. So what am I gonna learn? What am I gonna figure out? And I'll share my last thoughts at the very end of this video, but I do have one final thought on this whole thing.
To the break, so don't move. Just like that, we're back. We continue our conversation about the 3 Gs: gossiping, gaslighting, and gatekeeping in the workplace. Take a look. And when you have all of these problems happening in the workplace, on the job, what would be your advice to management and to the average worker in order to improve the environment that you're working in?
Well, Isaiah, this is going to seem very simple, but it is honest in the feedback. The number one thing an employer or a supervisor can do when an employee reports injustice is to actually do something about it. Our study showed that 83% of employers do nothing about it when employees report injustice. Only 17% actually respond. So the first thing is
that's a high number. That's a high number.
Incredibly high, because most people believe that their employer are never going to do anything about it, and it gets validated when the employer never steps up to stop things from happening. So the first thing is to respond. The second thing you can do is to invest in training your leaders on what to do and how to do it and when to do it. We know that middle management is where most people are supervised, but most middle managers haven't been trained or equipped to know how to intervene or how to speak up and how to raise things up the food chain, up the flagpole, if you will, if there's a challenge. And the last thing that I would say that every employer needs to do is to increase their ability for people to report.
Now,
All right. So that was the video. Let me know your thoughts. But I'll share my thoughts on the whole thing, right? I do agree with something that he said at the end. Most people who get into, I'm going to say especially in tech, I don't know about other industries and stuff like that, but most people who get into management in tech is based on knowing how to do, like, because they've been in the field for a while. So, and I'm going to say most tech people are not the most social people, right? So like tech used to be a space for introverts. So now you end up being a manager because you're a great coder, a great engineer, great developer, whatever, but you're not necessarily a good manager of people. You might be more of someone hurt my feelings and have to deal with the hurt feelings and then have to like deal with HR. And I'm like, oh my God, I do not, because I did it before. One of the things I hate the most when it comes to like managerial positions is like having to do the feedback, right? And like provide them like their annual review and all that. I'm like, I don't like dealing with all that stuff. I just want to work. I just want to work, and I have no problem teaching, like doing presentations, teaching. I'm like, I present on YouTube. I present in private Discords and whatever, like to my tech barbarians and all that. I'm like, I don't have no problem teaching, coaching, doing presentations. But the whole like nitty gritty of like all that managerial stuff, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I do not want to deal with it ever. It might change in the future, but I doubt it. But I don't know. But so that's my thoughts about it. I do think that at the end of the day, the whole thing takes attitude change. People, for the most part, one thing I like, because I remember a conversation that I had with me, myself, I about like negativity and positivity and stuff like that. And I'm like, I agree that I think the majority of people, the majority of the world are negative people, right? But me, although I see the negativity, I don't participate in the negativity because I just I don't have time for it, to be honest. Like because I have so much fun working on this stuff, figuring this stuff out, learning these new, like when I come out with a new feature, when I come out with a new like sound that I can play and stuff like that. Like that means the world to me. Like so I don't focus on people being able to make me feel one way or the other. You know, I control my own feelings. I'm like, if I want to be upset about something, I'll be upset about it. If I want to be happy about something, I'm gonna be happy about it. Like one of the most important things is being able to be in control of your emotions. And that goes for, because if people are gonna hurt your emotions, the same people who you work with, they are going, like they have, like they're humans. So do you think that you're not gonna catch a strays of like, oh, if they're rude with their people outside of work, why won't they be rude with you at work? And if someone is like rude with me at work, I'm like, are you okay? Like, what are we doing here? And then I'm like, but at the end of the day, if we focus more on the work and less on being, besties, then our feelings don't have to be involved as much. The whole thing about, oh, they ordered lunch without me, I don't care. Like, I can order my own lunch. I can buy my own lunch. I don't need to. I don't. One of my favorite songs. I'm gonna end it with this. One of my favorite songs is by Zero from Houston. It says, "I don't need no friends. I can do bad all by myself, but me, I can do good by myself as well, right? I don't have to do bad by myself. I can do good by myself. I can do good with other people. I don't care. I don't care. I am the most extroverted introvert that you will ever find because I can put on a show, but I can also be by myself and work like crazy and have a great time." That's my thoughts about it. Let's check the chat and then we're going to wrap it up because I have a Scrum night where we're wrapping up our sprint tonight. So let's check the chat and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Our time was decent. I must say decent, not the best, but we're going to figure it out. But I like the fact that we set a timer and we can just continue to make it better. Let's check the chat and wrap it up for today, right? So let's see what we got. Yakari said, never mind. I don't know. Like the whole thing, it threw me off because that thing should be port 443, but I have to find exactly where that configuration is. Might play it with it a little bit more tonight, but we'll go from there, right? No big deal. Let's see. Biasgrid says the video is real in this nonsense. People have to get into their feelings. I think if you give people the negative option, they're always going to choose the negative option over the positive. Like 9 times out of 10, they're going to choose the negative option because people are Debbie Downers. I'm not a Debbie Downer. So, Biasgrid said, or Junior said, I would say 66% is accurate only because most people now are lazy and think everything must go their way. Wow.
Bruh.
Tell us what you really think, Junior. Oh my goodness. All right. Junior says, I loved what I did too. Shout out to you. And Mitch says, shaking my damn head. What happened, Mitch? What happened? And let's see. But said, because most of them don't even have legitimate complaints. That's possible. That's possible, Like, because, hey, in the suggestion box or the complaint box, the coffee was not hot enough. And I don't like to heat up my coffee in the microwave. That can be a complaint, that can be a complaint. And Ferris said, good morning. Morning to you, Ferris. How are you doing? And another thing about the complaints, right? Whenever somebody's like, oh, like, did you get the sense from this? I always say, like, I I don't know, for some reason, I always like when someone might ask me like, oh, did you sense something? I always say, actually, I didn't really see it that way. Because I always go for like, what's the word? I always go for the benefit of the doubt. Unless something is blatant. If something is not blatant, I give the benefit of the doubt that they meant it in the best way possible. They meant it with all due respect. Okay, I'm kidding about that part, right? But they meant it in the best way possible. I don't like to take it as the worst case scenario. I like to take it as the best case scenario unless you show me otherwise or you tell me directly otherwise. But I don't like to assume rudeness, all right? And Junior says, I'm not doing as the Romans because I'm in Rome. Don't need to participate in negativity. Exactly what I'm talking about. And Fair said, if someone is rude at work, trying it outside of work, they are going to learn what work-life balance really means. All right. There we go. There we have it for today. All right. What do you guys think? Like, oh, wait, one more just jumped in. So Junior says, but check this out. The coffee is not hot enough, and I don't like to heat up my coffee in the microwave. That person also waits 2 hours at the after the coffee comes to go and get some. Junior. You know what? You deserve a.
How dare you?
How dare you tell someone how fast or how slow they have to go get their coffee, even though they like it hot? Shame on you, Junior. You have absolutely no right to do such a thing. All right. Anyways, that is it for today. I'm gonna play with this. Hopefully, I can figure it out, and then I'll just show it to you guys next week, and then we're gonna move on. I would love to get into modules next week. All right, but we'll figure it out because the show is the show. We are here to learn, and if we learn very, very slow, then we learn very, very slow. If we learn very, very quickly, we learn very, very quickly. I don't mind. I am not going to get mad at Terraform or at AWS or at Dr. Angela Yu. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with Ferris. All right. Anyways, the question that I have for you after it is all said and done is...
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Entertained. I'm happy that we're able to figure out part of the problem. And now we can just troubleshoot it and get it to work. But you know what we do here.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
All we do is win. And one more thing, yesterday's price is certainly not today's price. And today's price is definitely not tomorrow's price.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is going up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Roxy, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And your insight as well. Junior, of course. Mitch, my guy, Mitch. Thank you for not quitting on me as always. You know, I got you, Mitch. And, you know, Ferris, you know, you're the man. You are the man. Feisty Ferris, Feisty Ferris. Your car as always, appreciate you so much. Everyone else who tuned in, I really appreciate your time for being here. We are going to get out of here. You guys have an amazing, amazing Sunday afternoon.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.